Hi, welcome back to another ArchiCAD speed modeling tutorial by ASM TechBase. My name is Carsten MD. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get notified when a new video is out by clicking on the little bell. And every so often, if you really like a video, please click the like button, because this will put up my ranking on YouTube and help other ArchiCAD users too. Okay, let's get started and have a look at what challenges we actually facing here. Let me zoom in, and one of the main challenges really the twist in those blades. Okay, so if you look here, that looks pretty cool, and it's sort of easy to do in ArchiCAD obviously if you know how to, but there's a couple of things I'll show you in a minute that's very important to be able to twist something in ArchiCAD. The other one is, you see I made sort of a spline wave. You can see that the facade really, you know, has sort of a bit of a wave design. It means it twists in different stages or twists in different positions. So that's sort of the other challenge we have to look at. Now I start up with showing you here, I've got a car park design just sort of ready. Very simple cars in it, just really to represent the car park. Now, if I look at the elevation, that's where we add this facade. Now, all right, cool. So to start with, I'm showing you how to twist a blade. So let me do the first blade. For this, I use the morph tool. Okay, the morph tool, the material for now, I do blades, and I simply start drawing. I'm using this tool here. This gives me a height when I draw this morph object. Now the blades are roughly, I had a look, 400 millimeter long, and I make them 50 millimeter thickness. So let me start drawing. So I click, I go X 400 plus and Y 50 plus, enter. And now comes up with the extrusion length. And I estimate the twist to be about 3 meters. So I put in 3 meters, there you go. Now let me go back. What I mean is the twist starts roughly there, and it starts twisting, and it's probably stopping around here. So that's about, you know, I made it 3 meters. So, you know, obviously it can be different, but for this purpose of the tutorial, I made it 3 meters. So let me now frame this. So we only have this blade in 3D. Now, before I start drawing, I'll show you how to twist this. I drew another piece with a slab, which, let me do this. I go and use blades 01. You will see, if you watched my tutorials before, it's nice to have different materials. It's easier to explain. So I'm just drawing another piece here with a slab. Okay, and if I go into 3D now, we got 2 pieces. I have to be too careful about how high that slab is. It's just connected straight down here. Okay, now this piece of morph, how can we twist this? You have to go to your arrow tool up here, you change to the other arrow here, and then we go and select this. Okay, so this is selected here. It's just really that it's the surface of that piece that's selected, nothing else. Now, if you go and want to rotate this, you can go here, rotate, and you go in the middle here roughly. I'll show you. So you go there, click. I click. Let me go straight here, and we now start to twist this. Now what happened is, you can see if I twist this, I need to be able to twist it 90 degrees. So have a look what happened to it. And let me click again. That's just roughly for now, because what I want to show you is that it is not working, right? This is not working at all. So how can you make it work? Let me undo this. First, a quick reminder, at any time if you want to know more about ASM TechBase, on all my videos, you can just go scroll down here, show more, and there's lots of information. All the videos have this information on YouTube channel. So at any time you can go and have a look and get more information. And to make this work, there's a little bit of a, it's not a trick, it's just something you have to add. You have to add more vertices. So let me go back And instead of selecting this surface, I select just this one line. Remember, you have to be in this arrow tool to do this. So I click this one, and now I multiply this line. Let me distribute -1, put in about 25. I don't need to pick a part before, so click OK. So I pick from this corner, it'll be distributed all the way over here, and let go. So you click again, twice actually. So I've got all those extra vertices on this side of this piece of morph. We need to do the same on the other side. So let me do this quickly, zoom in. Okay, now because you got all those extra vertices in here, now we can actually select this surface again, and we can twist this. So let me rotate from the middle roughly, going there, and now if I move now, let me just stop there for now and click again. Have a look what happens. It is actually able to twist this quite nicely. Okay. Now let me undo this step because we have to be more accurate in twisting. I do this in 2D. So I'm going back and zoom in a little bit. I'm still on this arrow tool, and I just click here to select the surface. Now to be able to be exactly in the middle, you would have to sort of, have the divisions we got down here. Where do I have my divisions down here? Yeah, see there it's in half at the moment. But okay, I have 25. I'm not sure anymore if this is actually really the half here. I think it is, but to make sure, let us deselect this. And I go to line. That's the middle now. I go there. That's the middle now. And now if I go under this line, you can see, I definitely can see the middle here now. All right, so go back to the arrow tool. We select this. That's the surface. I go and move, rotate, and now you got to pick the exact middle. So go on this line and you pick the exact middle. Click over here, and then see I got to go now up, and now I can do exactly 90 degrees. So you go 90, enter. Deselect. Let me zoom out a bit. Yes, I've still got the frame around, the marquee, and we look at this in 3D. So this now is really nicely, perfectly accurate, twisted by 90 degree. Okay, let us go to the section. I'll have this down here somewhere. There you go. Cool, that's great. Now, the next bit is, let me create some blades. So I change my arrow to that. Select them, and I just want to elevate them a little bit, like 5 meters. It doesn't really matter because I need them higher up in my elevation. There you go. Great. So now because we got this blade here as a slab, let me click here. I can just stretch this down. Now you probably ask, why do I do a slab? Well, the more morph objects you have in ArchiCAD, the slower it gets redrawing in floor plan, even in elevation or section or 3D. 3D is not too bad, but sometimes on the floor plan it can get really slow. So for this tutorial, I thought instead of using a piece of morph down here, I use a slab. That's the only reason. Okay, now I stretch this a bit. Now we drag a copy over here, and we go back to our 2D. There it is, because it's just easier to see now. I can click and I can turn it by 90, because that's what I did with the morph, the twisted morph. And then you just draw, move this, drag it over here. There you go. Let's have a look quickly in 3D. There you go. It's obviously not exactly in the same spot. It should be up here. Now you can move it in 3D or you can move it in the elevation. That's fine. The section, so I click and move it all the way up. There. All right, let's go to the elevation. Okay, so you can clearly see now we got the twisted blade going on here. Okay, let me have a look in 3D. All right, turn around a bit. There we go. It's pretty cool actually. This will be great. So you have the blade here, and if you look at the blade, keep looking at it, it'll give you a great effect. Now looking at what I've got as a reference image, yeah, so obviously you have a blade. Let's just say we have a blade facing us, we twist it and we go up, and then it twists back again a little bit. That's up to you, that what you want to twist. Yeah, for me I twist it and I twist it back. That's the first one I'm doing for now. So let me have a look in the elevation. Yeah, that's cool. In 3D. Now, what I do is I like to select those two, and what I do is I just drag a copy. So drag a copy. Let me zoom in to make sure I've got it here. There you go. And you go up. And just make sure it's straight. See this line here, hold shift is straight, and we go exactly there. Now, of course, this doesn't fit, as you can see, no problem at all. A1 again, that's a little tip. So what I do is now, because if you go to the floor plan, have a look. So we go to the floor plan, and it's very hard to pick which is which. So it's much easier in the section. So I'm going here, I pick this, and I pick this, and I drag. No, not a copy, actually, I actually just drag it over here. Go into 2D again, and you will see in a moment it goes, there it is. So now it's much easier. You just select it like this, and we twist it. How do we twist it? I gotta make sure, sorry, I have to go into 3D to make sure I twist it the right way. So what I want to do is, got the twist there, and we want to twist it back. Okay, so I have to twist 90 that way. Cool. So we go here and we select, and we just turn this, you know, roughly, doesn't matter where, because I do it more accurate, moving it back anyway in a minute. So make sure it's 90. And then I drag this back. Like I said, you can just do this like that. Okay, they should be connected now. How cool is that? Let's have a look. A1. There you go. So you got a twist now, going straight, and it twists again. Okay, so that's cool. So if I go back here, that's one of the first twists that it twists. Twist that way, and oops, this one here. Because you can see there's a couple of them. Some of them look like only 45-degree twisted, which is great, which I'll produce later. Okay, let's go back here. So what's the next step? I really like to make sure that I have a couple of different twists. So the easiest way is, let me just copy some. All right, cool. Okay, again, what I do is I take those two. Let me just select this one, and we select this one here, and I just drag them away. Let me drag this from there. It doesn't really matter, you know. If you have the blue line here, that's 90 degrees to it, which actually I think is better. Okay, and we go back to 2D. And we should find them hopefully somewhere. Oop, that was a bit far. Never mind. So those are the twisted ones. So what I like to do is now we make sure we go back to our white arrow. We select this. Oops, we gotta make sure we select only the face of it. So let me deselect this. Face. Yeah, that's the face. Now again, see that the comes for, I need to be exactly in the middle. So you have to do the same again. Take a line. And I choose again rotation, going to move, and we rotate. Go exactly in the middle here, click, I click there. So we have a 90 rotation. Let me go 45 now, so that means I go back 45, so minus 45, enter. So that's cool. And the other one here, not sure, I can't see how much it is, but let us just do another one. Maybe do 30 degrees. Okay, that's pretty good. Let me move them back. Actually, we can do this. Switch to the black arrow. Yes, so you can see those are the two different blade twists I have extra now. See? So I've got the 90 degrees, 45 and 30. It's just a little bit of randomness. I like stuff like that, and I think it looks good too. Now obviously we have to use the same one up here. Let me just select those ones, and we don't need them. So those two I can delete. Great. And I have to adjust the twist of those ones. So to make sure I know which one is which, let me again move that. So very simple, select and move. And then you go back to your 2D drawing. I do this a lot. It's just easier to find where my models or model pieces are. Okay, oop, there they are. So all I do is now click and drag it and oops, do it again. Click, hold my left mouse button, there you go. Drag it there and rotate it to fit this. Alright, how's this looking now? Let's have a look. Beautiful, it's great. Everything is connected correctly. Now the next steps are the same again. You make sure you copy them up, move them a bit so you can see them in your 2D, turn them around, go back to your elevation, and there again rotate them around to make it fit, just like the first blade we did together. It's all done and it looks pretty cool. Now if I go to my elevation, all right, they're all ready to go, to be moved around and to be stretched, because you will have to stretch some of them. Okay, so let me go back here. So what happens is some of them you can see, so they have the same blade here and it just gets longer and longer. Then some of the gaps are different. See, this is a longer gap, a thin gap, and then it twists back a little bit. So that's the randomness. So what you have to do is first, I first just go now and select some of the blades and just copy them along. As example, let me just take this. I will now group them. Okay. And you can't group in section. I've got Archicad 25 open at the moment, which is a bit annoying. So I've selected now, I'm going to 3D, and here you can select them again. And now I can group them. There you go. It's very odd, but never mind, that's the way you have to do it. So let me do those two. So what we do is now we move them along and then we will stretch them. So let me take those two and move them a bit outside first. Okay. Before we stretch in here, what I recommend is this now. So suspend groups, you take this and you make this longer. I mean longer. Don't worry, this will be all good at the end. So we stretch them up, just like this. Now let me start with those. Remember, they're grouped so I can move them together. Let me start all the way over here. There. Now the gap, I had a look, it's roughly about 150. So what you can do is we just multiply a couple of them for now. Let's make it spread, because I know they are 400 wide. If I add 150, that makes it 550. Okay, I mean, it doesn't matter where you click, you just click somewhere and it will just, you know, copy them along at the exact distance I want to. All right, see, that's the first step you do. Now the next step is make sure the group is suspended, and then you need to stretch them. The problem is with stretching that we can't really stretch it in the, in the elevation. At least not with the marquee tool. It just doesn't work. It works in the floor plan, but not in elevation or section. Now I give you two options to do this. First option is you keep it as is. Like I said, you have the part of the blades as slab, which makes it very fast redrawing in the floor plan. If you want to do that, what you have to do is you just select those two as example. Let me drag it down a bit. It doesn't matter how much, it is up to you. This is purely now designing it by eye. Let me drag it a little bit. Okay, so I did drag this down. Now because this is a slab, I can just click, move that down to here. Okay, so that's the slab. Yeah, all good. So you see that's the first stretch, and you could say, okay, I want to stretch this one down a bit. So we go here, stretch it maybe till about there. But that means now I have to click, and then I have to drag this down. As you can see already, that it's a little bit more work, but it's fine. It does work just all right. Now the second option I can give you, let me select those. Okay, yeah. Okay, so they're all selected now. So what I do is I'll convert them to morph. That means you won't have slabs anymore. So we go convert selection to morph. I know there's some morphs already there, but that doesn't matter. So just hit OK. Now let's go to the floor plan and move those blades away from the actual car park. And I will extend my section so I can actually see them. Okay, A2. Alright, they must be over here somewhere. There we go. So what you can do is now you select and you rotate this. Because they're all morphs now, I can rotate them by 90. Go back to my drawing, floor plan. Now you zoom in. And what happens now, because they're morph, let me suspend groups. I can use the marquee tool. And you can see now, this will go faster. So what I do is here, I'll draw there. And I just stretch them down. Right? And because they're all morph and then the ground floor, this obviously is a lot easier to stretch. So I can now go there, go down here. But you can see the redraw, it's just the way it is in Arcade. The redraw is not as fast with morph. So you click. Let's move it up a little bit. There you go. So you can see this exercise now is obviously much faster because I can stretch in one go. So those are the two options you have to get this facade now a lot more random. So it's up to you which one you do. Okay, so I opted to go with option 2. As you can see here, I copied and moved stuff around. I did stretch it. And I got one facade ready for my car park. Now, before we move on, you can see I obviously did, as a guide, a little spline here. And that blue shade or blue fill you can see, what I did is this is actually the exact size of my elevation of the car park. So if you go here, that's this size. So all I did is, let's go back, I can just delete this. Okay, so all I did is I go in here, go to the fill, and I draw a fill. Now you select that fill again, and you don't need it in here, so you can just go to cut, go back to your 2D view, and let's just say you maybe around here. Now you paste, and you'll get an option here. It will tell you to paste center of the current view, original location, keep current view, or zoom to pasted elements. So you just go to original location, and you zoom to pasted elements. So I paste, and it pasted down here, and I just click outside. Obviously I already got all my elements here, but just to mention, if you've done it before you did the elements, all the elements would be empty. I would have just this fill here. I added the spline, and then I would do my elements. Okay, so that's a great little option to make sure you know how big the elements will be at the top and at the bottom, because we need to cut them off obviously. So which is quite easy. All you do is Let me go here. So I take my arrow tool, and all I do is I select, zoom in and go just above, you know, your fill. Just above. That means I select everything, because some of them you can maybe see there's even this tiny bit down here I need to select, because you have to be in suspend groups just to make sure you don't select stuff you don't want to. And now this is selected. We simply go to the cutting tool, and let me go here, zoom in, you go there, you get the sort of the Mercedes icon, or you just go there, click and click, but usually I just go to see this Mercedes, I call it the Mercedes icon. I click, and then I can see I want to cut off this way, click again, and it will cut everything off, and we just hit delete. There you go, same with the other one. Great, this is cool. So what you do is now select everything like this. I do like to unselect with shift click my spline, and I don't really want to the fill with it either, so I'm going in between here, shift click, so I unselected the fill. Now I go and group, everything is grouped, and now I can move this a bit towards my car park. There we go, and all we do is we drag this down there. Should fit because of the fill I used. Yeah, see, perfect. Let's look at A1. It obviously has to recalculate, but I like it. Very nice. So if you go back here, have a quick redraw, and let's use the marquee tool just quickly to see what we got. All right, see, you got one of the facades ready. And the effect is quite cool actually. If you go sort of close by, you can, you know, you can't see in here at the moment, but if I start moving straight out, look, you can see all the cars, and then you move around, you can't see any cars. If you drive along the road, this is actually quite a nice design, because it does hide the car park, because you don't really drive along the road looking that way. Anyway, so now obviously you just do the other sides. Okay, as you can see, I did very simple for this exercise. I did actually just mirror that elevation to the other side, and I made a copy of this elevation, moved that corner to this corner, I turned it 90 degrees so it's that way, and then I just deleted the rest. And to do an entry of the car park, I show you very quickly. What I did is let me go to working. So all I did is I added 2 pieces of slab. There you go. I put them on a different layer. I call my layer cutting elements because I cut with those. And all you do is you use the solid element operation. So if you go to solid element operation, you select the pieces you need as targets. This slab here I can select as operator, and I do a subtraction, I execute. That's all I did. So if I go back now to export, turning the cutting layer off, there you go. And you can see beautiful, everything is cut off, including even I had the wall here going along before. All this is cut off and it looks perfect now. There you go. Cool, this is another of my tutorials. I hope you enjoyed it, and to see you back soon. Bye for now.